Hey everybody! Hi winners and all the wonderful people of the world. Welcome. Welcome to Attraction Marketing. No, welcome to Win with Attraction Marketing for Empowered Entrepreneurs. Yes. So, see, I still haven't gotten my thing together because I should be doing Facebook Lives or YouTube Live because when you record this stuff and then you come back and upload it, no one's going to see it in their feed, right? So I'm trying to get this stuff together. But you know what? Making sure I'm getting into the practice of doing this every day. Yes. And so, I'm talking about AI. My deal is AI marketing, well, marketing, attraction marketing, and then AI marketing or AI in general for people of the experienced generations. So that's Jimi Hendrix and beyond. Now, Jimi Hendrix was still alive when I was a kid. I mean, I was a small kid, but I remember when his albums and stuff were coming out, and The Experienced, and Carlos Santana, and all that stuff, and Janis Joplin, and yeah, I remember all the Doors with Jim Morrison and all kinds of stuff. And I remember the Ed Sullivan show. Do you guys remember that? That show was so good. I remember this guy came on, this Greek guy, and he had these plates, and he had these sticks, and he was going like this, and he had like all these plates balancing on a stick. That's like one of the episodes I'll never never forget. I was so fascinated by the Greek guy who had these sticks, and he kept putting more plates on top and more plates, and he was going to. And like the Jackson 5, the Beatles, well, I wasn't born yet, or I wasn't, like conscious to the world or the universe yet when the Beatles came. Well, I don't even think I was born. And then they had the Jackson 5, they had Miriam Makeba, they had Sly and the Family Stone, and just all of these great acts, like unbelievable people. The Rolling Stones and The Who, and just, I mean, all people from around the world were on that show. And yeah. And so that's where we're the generation, the experienced generation. And so we're going to be going into AI. Oh, today I got to tell you a little bit. So we're going to, before I jump in, these are still my dress rehearsals. As you see, I have on Carmi's sweatshirt. And you know what? I'm going to do a deal. I have so many clothes and so many shoes. I have as many clothes and shoes as probably Paris Hilton. And then I bought all of these clothes in Asia and Thailand and Vietnam. And I want to do I'm not going to do a fashion show, but I'm going to do a trunk show, and I'm going to show you all these fabulous clothes I got from Asia for nothing. I'm talking nothing. Gorgeous clothes made in Japan, made in Thailand, made in Vietnam. Not China. Not that there's anything wrong with China, but I'm saying the quality of this stuff. Like Chinese, you can get some good high quality, you know, goods in China, but if you really want to get down, go to Japan. Okay, go to Thailand, go to Vietnam. You're gonna get some stuff that is made. I'm talking about, whew, I'm talking about the quality. Because Chinese, they do, yeah, they have people who make really, like the people who do the tailoring and stuff, outrageously high quality. But then they got a bunch of junk too. So, I would say when you're traveling, and even India, because India is actually, I was surprised, is quite close to Vietnam. It's not far at all. So India really is part of Asia. Yes, they are. But anyway, let me get into what kind of situation has gotten me still not getting 100% into the AI deal yet. So I had to go down to the courthouse and file some paperwork for the lawsuit, the discrimination lawsuit I have against Providence Health and Services. And so the other side, I just received notice that they're going to be filing a motion to dismiss. And so I asked them, I contacted them and said, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand this legalese. And they called me and said, yeah, we're going to be filing this motion to dismiss. And, there's an explanation of it. And they said, check your email. And I found the email attachments, which explained. And so I asked them, well, can I answer you? They said, oh, we're sorry, we can't give you that. That would be advice, legal advice, and we can't do that. And they said, we hope you can find an attorney. Well, my attorney, he walked out on me, and I don't have any negative feelings against him because he's got better things. I'm not saying really better things, but he's got larger cases. And, in the States, it's almost impossible to um, win a discrimination lawsuit because of the system run by the left and the Democrats. Yes. But anyway, we'll get into that in a whole nother deal. I'm not going to go too much into that, but not right now. But yeah, it's the left that, in my view, is responsible for the racism and the lack of progress, since there's empirical evidence that racial discrimination, for example, racial and other kinds of discrimination, but let's just start with racial, hasn't decreased 1% since 1989. And therefore, I will contend. Okay, this is just a contention. It's not saying it's the fact. But I would contend that the EEOC is part of the conspiracy to not advance um, civil rights in America, because the left has always been against civil rights. They've not been. And we don't understand that Republicans, the way Republicans and the way Democrats promote civil rights are completely different. Republicans don't come out and say this color, that color, duh, 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 duh. They say all Americans should have the same rights. And we don't understand that kind of movement. We don't understand it when it's that way. We only understand it when people are telling you you're marginalized, you're this and that. When blacks have had equal rights since 18 what 68, maybe, let's say 1870. Blacks have had equal rights since 1870, and nobody knows that. Those laws have been on the books that long. But we're living with the left. You think that nobody had rights. Nobody. Well, everybody has rights. All the races, all the genders, all the alternative lifestyles, everyone has rights. Everyone has constitutional rights, if nothing else. And no one seems to know that. But like I say, that's a whole nother show. And I don't want to get into it. I don't want to be part of the discussion because it just is trouble. It's just going to bring trouble for me. So, anyway, this lawsuit, which is a discrimination lawsuit, and I tell you, I've been going through discrimination lawsuits in Oregon since 1981. And you think by the time you get into your 60s and 70s, you can live in your society where you were born and raised, but no, you cannot. So again, like I say, I'm leaving the United States. I left in the 80s. I tried to come back several times, and believe me, it was a mistake. And so it's kind of sad, but at the same time, it's happy because life is fabulous outside. Because when you travel, every day is a new experience, you know? And when you're at home, whether you're a victim of racism or not, is like Groundhog Day. It's just the same day over again and over again and over again and over again. But whenever I'm traveling, every day is completely different. You're like, whoa, whoa, I would have never done this many things, or I never would have seen this, or I never would have experienced something like this at home in one day. And, you know, it's hard to explain, but that's kind of the deal. And so the other thing about dealing with discrimination lawsuits is it takes so much out of you, and it takes so much time and effort and energy. And I was talking to the attorneys, and they're like, yeah, we hope you can get and find an attorney. We hope you could, because I'm not an attorney. Yes, I'm a doctor and I'm a smart girl, but I'm not an attorney. I didn't go to law school. So, how am I going to know all these loopholes and all the nuances of particular federal, state, city, local, county, laws? And so I filed a motion today for pro bono assistance, but it says that there's still no guarantee. But I gave a very compelling argument on to why I should receive pro bono. But ever since I started this case and my attorney backed out, no one's been available. And so that just it just says, go leave the United States. Leave the United States, because there's no justice. It's not safe. It is not safe to live here. If you belong to a protected, um, if you're what, protected status, population, or class, that's it, basically. And it's ridiculous. I only have I won't say a few years left. I may only have 1 or 2 days left, really. But, in the scheme of things, with my health, if I don't get hit by a Mack truck, I should have 20 to 30 years left. And, you know, do you want to live in constant systemic racism for the rest of your life? You could only go so far with this stuff. And it's so ridiculous and it's immature. It's an immature, it's like living with a bunch of preschoolers or high schoolers, or people in high school don't even act that. People in middle school don't even act that ridiculous. It's when you grow up and you start working in corporations that you have these adults who have these mental health issues. And the human resources department is an enabler. And so then you end up, and I have spent thousands and thousands of dollars fighting different organizations in these discrimination lawsuits. And they usually end up getting dismissed at some point. So there's 2,000, 4,000, 7,000, 5,000 dollars lost of my money. And then the same deal is that, I put myself through graduate school, getting my master's degree and getting my doctorate. I never got any scholarships. I never got anything. And I paid for all this stuff myself. Okay? So people think black people get, no, we don't get scholarships. We don't get anything. I got nothing. Some people do, but I didn't. And then when Biden started paying all these loans and stuff, well, I didn't have any loans because I paid as I went. So I don't get any reimbursement. I don't get anything. And then I apply for jobs. I don't get, with Providence, no one ever showed up for the interview 3 times. And then on the third time, the woman who was supposed to be observing says, "Oh, well, I'll just do it," after like half an hour looking for her colleagues, who she couldn't even find because they're working remotely, probably 4 jobs. You know what I mean? Because you couldn't find them. They were supposed to be interviewing me. It was on the schedule. Couldn't find one of them, one of the 3. Couldn't find them. No one answered, nothing. So obviously, these people are working multiple jobs. Or they're just all off at the mall, at their girlfriend's house, or whatever. They're not working. And so I had to deal with that. Well, that's not acceptable, because that's disparate treatment. Because if the person they hired, they had their interview, everybody showed up, it didn't have to be rescheduled, the whole panel showed up and took notes and they all made the decision together. With Providence, this one lady, Regina Breyer, she was not part of the panel. And when she couldn't find the co-worker, she was supposed to be there observing. When she couldn't find her co-workers who were assigned to the panel, she says, "Oh, I'll just do it." Well, there was only like 5 or maybe, okay, let's say 15. And I'm being very liberal. 15 minutes left. And she says, I'll do it. And so she asked me a couple questions. And I answered to the, I guess, so to my ability, because by that time you're like, like, oh my gosh, what do I say? No one's here. I had all these answers prepared, and none of the people showed up, and so she's asking something from and just grabbing something out of left field, and so I answer her questions, and next thing you know, I see the job reposted, like either that day or the next day, which meant that she immediately rejected me. But I was supposed to be interviewed by a panel. She was a single person. She made a unilateral decision and then reposted the the opening for the business partner, human resources business partner, and then they eventually hired someone else. But she rejected me like within one day, and I should have had at least 2 interviews. I mean, with my qualifications alone, I should have had at least 2 interviews. I barely had one. And I'm sure the person they hired had the regular interviews with the panel. And then the notes, get this, the notes from the interview were already written before. They were already time stamped before we even had the interview. And she had already rejected me before even interviewing me. So we'll see how it goes. But whatever the case may be, let me just finish it and get out of town. Because it's just enough. So I have babbled, but what I'm saying is of substance. It's this systemic racism, which is going nowhere. It's going nowhere. And that's a shame. So, a lot of people are black sitting out of here. And when we're gone, you'll feel it. You'll feel it. You'll feel it. Because we, black people, in part, put the United States on the map. So, you don't want us, you don't need us. Well, Muhammad Ali said, don't stay and force yourself on the people. So I'm out of here. I am. Okay, well, blah, 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 blah. Tomorrow I will have good stuff to say, because we're going to start jumping into this AI and chat GPT for marketing for empowered entrepreneurs. Thanks so much for joining me, and we will be in touch soon. Ciao.